we'll go ahead and get started a minute or two early. Thanks for being here, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. We're here to celebrate a really important milestone in the history of St. Louis County Animal Care and Control Adoption Center. We're obviously very pleased to have passed our state inspection by the Department of Agriculture to become a licensed facility, and that inspection was yesterday afternoon. To get through that really was a team effort. From the management to the staff to the volunteers, everyone was really pulling together as a team. It was a joint effort. But passing this inspection really is a testament to the new leadership, to the new management and staff, to Dr. Cunningham's efforts to make sure that the animal shelter had the resources that it needed to be successful. Spent a lot of attention around the shelter, rightly so. In St. Louis County, we are passionate about our pets. We're passionate about our cats and our dogs. Passing inspection demonstrates that we're headed in the right direction and that people are in place to make this shelter successful. Along the way, we certainly had our detractors. Making cultural changes are difficult. We certainly have some employees that have been resistant to change, and we may even have some ex-employees who did not want us to be successful. But under the steady leadership of Dr. Cunningham, she's built a team with one priority, and that is to implement best practices for animal shelters wherever that's possible. And this is what progress looks like. Our one goal is to turn this into an animal shelter that will be a leader in the region, that will be best practice. To do that, though, we need the support of the public, and we need the support of the county council. And they certainly asked some questions recently, and we're grateful for that. Some of them have even been here to visit the shelter. But we're asking them to recognize the hard work of the staff and to pass the 4 pieces of legislation that is in front of them. And when you go inside, you'll see that we have a lot of dogs here, about 250. And that's just too many. That's too many to care for, and it's too crowded. So we'd like to be able to join other animal shelters like the APA or the Humane Society, and we like to be able to waive adoption fees for special events. And that's a great way to promote adoption. It's a great way to reduce overcrowding. Now, a couple of months ago, we had a parvo outbreak at the shelter. One of the contributors that made that difficult to manage was overcrowding. It made it very difficult to contain that outbreak. So we've also asked the council to change the way the county animal shelter accepts donations. As it stands now, any donation has to go before the council, and they have to pass an ordinance for the animal shelter to accept it, whether that's medication, more cages, dog food, anything that helps us take care of the animals. We like to make that more efficient. We like to have an ordinance and have permission to accept donations directly to the shelter. In order to be a top-notch shelter, accepting donations quickly is going to be a part of that. There are 2 other bills in front of the council asking for $20 million of RAMS settlement funds to make improvements in the animal shelter. This building, owned by St. Louis County, was never designed to be an animal shelter. It's been retrofitted, and the infrastructure is significantly outdated. It needs a new HVAC system. We need new kennel layouts. We need to convert other rooms to have more kennel space. And we also need to give attention to our outdoor spaces to improve the runs for the dogs. So simply put, this building was never designed to be an animal shelter, and it makes it difficult to provide the care that these dogs need. So passing the inspection yesterday would not have been possible without our dedicated volunteers. And I want to recognize them. They strive for excellence. We're very proud of them, and we could use more volunteers. If you are interested in helping us, please call our animal shelter, and we will get you set up to go through the process to come in and help us take care of these dogs. And we can also tell you more about the animal volunteer program over the phone. So I want to give Dr. Cunningham a chance to talk about some of the changes that's been made here. It's really exciting to see where we are and where we're going. And Dr. Cunningham, come on up.
Thank you, Dr. Page. I'll say that I am incredibly proud to say the St. Louis County Animal Shelter has received the license from the Missouri Department of Agriculture. This license is a direct result of our staff and volunteers' unwavering commitment, specifically under the leadership of the Division Director, Malik Johnson. We added Malik to our team because of his experience in operations, and his leadership was on display as he joined employees and volunteers in cleaning out the kennels. To our ACC staff who worked long hours, embraced new protocols, and shown up for the animals every single day, you made it possible. And to our volunteers who walked the dogs in the rain and extreme heat, sat quietly with shy cats, and helped advocate for every animal in our care, thank you. Your compassion is unmatched, and your belief in second chances is the heart of this shelter. Thank you for believing in what I'm doing to make this shelter what it should be. I want to thank the public who stepped up to serve as fosters and adopters, and that includes county employees. You opened your homes and your hearts to dogs and cats in need. In doing so, you created space at the shelter for others still waiting. The license is more than a piece of paper. It affirms that we're on the right path, one grounded in humane care, accountability, and hope. But it's also just the beginning. We're doing all we can to get more dogs and cats adopted and have launched St. Louis County's first ever community foster program. We are encouraged by our recent uptick in adoptions, with 73 animals being adopted since June 1st. We hope that we can continue to boost our adoption numbers. Being able to waive fees for promotional adoption events is best practice supported by the APA, the Humane Society, and others. I'll continue to ask the council for their support. Having our license with the state also allows us to officially host adoption events with animals present and allows staff to facilitate on-site adoptions at those events, resulting in more pets finding forever homes. We've already had local restaurants ask us to co-host adoption events with them, and we're grateful for their trust and partnership. But we still need help. We need our community to continue to open their hearts and their homes to these animals in need. We are still urgently seeking both foster families and adoptive families to help us ensure our animals get the love and attention they deserve. While we pass this inspection to secure our license with the state, we know there will be more inspections, and in the future, to maintain that license, we will continue to treat every day like an inspection day. We are upholding the standards of the state while providing the best possible living conditions of the animals in our care. I invite the community to take this journey with us and to be part of the culture shift that centers on giving every animal the best chance at a loving outcome. Thank you.
Thanks, and we'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
Yeah, the state can come at any time. So if it's a complaint, of course, for follow-up, they can come at any time. I think one thing that was really positive is that we started to implement mock inspections. So a lot of our volunteers stepped up, and so we were able to go through and identify problem areas beforehand, and that wasn't done before. So I think that's great that we had great team effort between the staff and the volunteers to do these mock inspections. Right. So we're currently actively recruiting for volunteers. We have, I think, up to about 94 and currently recruiting more. So we always appreciate more volunteers. So please apply. There is significant turnover with staff, but I don't think it's unique to St. Louis County Animal Shelter. All across the region and the country, you're seeing high turnover. But for us specifically, we are experiencing that. Whenever there's a culture shift or a culture change, our new expectations, you would tend to see the turnover that we're seeing. Thank you. Yeah, so I would say talk to our volunteers. I think a lot of the changes that we put in place came from the volunteers who have been trying to get leadership attention over the last 5 or 6 years. And honestly, the volunteers were right. We were not running a shelter with best practices or even using evidence-based research. We were not. And so once I listened to the volunteers, they met with me. I started to fact check and review what they shared, and they were right. And so the volunteers actually help us to get on the right track. And then talking to other partners and rescues in this space, people have welcomed St. Louis County to do the right thing. I have to find out the exact number. I don't know right now. I know we try to have ACOs on every shift because we do run a 24/7 operation, but I'm not sure how many we have at the moment that's currently working. Yes, we do. We have. Yeah. So when we think of shelter, it's no place for animals to live long term. And so I think it's a culture shift that as we have a duty to serve the public as far as public safety and bringing in dangerous dogs, cruelty animals, or even lost dogs. But staying in a shelter for 30 plus days, that's not ideal. No dog or cat should have to sit in a shelter. So therefore, that's why we created the first foster program, because across the country, foster programs is one way to get animals into loving homes. And of course, continue to try to boost our adoptions. So I proposed the legislation to the council back in February because that was a best practice. APA did that all throughout their tenure with us, and they were quite successful at increasing adoptions when we were getting at capacity or over capacity.
Well, we'd like to be able to get resources to the animals as fast as possible. And in government, passing a law is not fast. It's by design. But there's some things that are so clear that you just want to get things. You want to get food to the dogs or food donations to give away with dogs who are adopted. You want to be able to get medicine to the dogs, and you don't want to have to pass an ordinance or go through emergency procurement to try and obtain it in a crisis setting. But there's a lot of routine things that are done here, and accepting donations is not anything that should be slow. This is a priority for us, and I'm really glad to see the County Council asking the difficult questions. The animal shelter has been a source of attention in St. Louis County for 3 decades, and you can feel the culture shift. You can feel the energy, and you can feel the excitement of the people who work here and the people who volunteer here who recognize that we're going in a different direction. But we need the support of the County Council, and we need the support of the community to come and help us walk the dogs, come and foster a dog, or come and take a dog home with you and give these dogs a loving home, because the dogs we have here were brought to us because they weren't wanted. And we need to get them to a home that wants them, and we need your help.
No suggestions afterwards, but I'll say beforehand, I actually reviewed the last 10 years of inspections here, and there were some significant things. Expired medications were one. So putting in standard operating procedures to make sure we have a checklist and make sure we have a SOP that can clearly define when we will go and, throw out expired medications in our vet clinics. Mock inspections, we've never done that. I think getting everybody on the same team to know, well, what is Missouri Department of Agriculture? What are they looking at or looking for? I think a lot of team members didn't know. One other thing, we didn't have the appropriate spacing to provide humane housing. So we had to purchase new kennels, new runs for dogs, because we do take in majority large dogs. And we were cited quite frequently for having inappropriate spacing.